The Golden Company came ashore beneath a sky, the color of old iron, 6 weeks before Daenerys Targaryen first saw the dark cliffs of Dragonstone. Their ships entered Blackwater Bay in disciplined lines, not as raiders came, nor merchants, nor frightened men fleeing winter, but as an army that had spent generations dreaming of the day its boots would press into Westerosi mud. Long-hulled transports crowded behind Euron Greyjoy's black-sailed warships. Their decks groaned beneath horses, wagons, siege engines, armored men, and elephants whose trumpet calls rolled over the city walls like the voices of forgotten gods. Queen's Landing had seen armies before. It had watched the gold cloaks murder babes in alleys, heard Stannis Baratheon's drums across the river, and smelled men roasting inside their own armor when wildfire turned the Blackwater green. Yet the arrival of the Golden Company inspired a different fear. This army did not swagger. It did not plunder the docks or fight over whores. It moved with quiet precision. The people watched 10,000 strangers march through the river gate. Their shields bore no lion. Their officers saluted no Westerosi lord. Their gilded skulls swung from spear points, polished relics of captains who had died beneath foreign suns, but had refused to abandon the company even in death. From the walls of the Red Keep, Cersei watched them come. "The elephants will destroy the streets," Jaime said. Below them, the largest of the beasts shouldered its way past a fishmonger's stall. The stall collapsed with a crack. Silver-scaled fish scattered beneath massive feet, while the fishmonger fled shrieking. "The streets can be rebuilt," Cersei replied. "The realm cannot." Jaime turned his gaze from the army to his sister. She wore black now, always black, though crimson stones circled her throat. Mourning colors had become a crown of their own. Since Tommen's death, grief had not softened her. It had burned away whatever parts of her had once desired tenderness. "You promised them gold we do not yet possess," he said. "I promised them the wealth of Casterly Rock. Casterly Rock's mines have been empty for years. They do not know that. They will. When we take Highgarden, we will pay them with Tyrell gold." Jaime looked again toward the marching sellswards. "And what if they decide they prefer the city to payment?" Cersei smiled faintly. "Then we make certain their commander prefers breathing." The throne room had been prepared for Harry Strickland's audience before the last transport tied itself to the quay. Braziers warmed the vast chamber, though summer still lingered in the south. Lannister guards lined the pillars. Qyburn stood near the throne with his hands folded inside his sleeves, and the enormous silent knight in white armor waited at the queen's left. Euron entered first, dripping rainwater onto the polished floor, as though he owned both storm and castle. "I brought you an army," he announced. "You brought what my gold purchased," Cersei said. "And elephants. One of which has already destroyed a market stall. Then it has conquered more of Queen's Landing than Stannis did." Jaime's hand tightened around the pommel of his sword. Harry Strickland entered behind Euron with 4 captains. He was broader than Cersei had expected and more solemn. His boots bore dried mud from half a dozen ports. Unlike the swaggering sellswords she had known, he did not dress like a jeweled peacock. His mail was dark, his cloak plain save for a thread of gold, and his eyes moved through the throne room with the patience of a man measuring distances. He bowed. "Your Grace." "Captain General," Cersei answered. "You have crossed the narrow sea faster than promised." Storms delayed 3 transports. The rest followed Lord Euron's fleet from Myr. "No, King Euron," Euron corrected. Harry did not look at him. "The missing ships will arrive within the fortnight." "And your strength?" 9,742 effectives ashore. 411 mounted knights, 2,000 horses, 8 elephants, scorpions, trebuchets, rams, and sufficient provisions for 3 months. Cersei leaned forward. "I was promised 20,000 men. You were promised the Golden Company. We are not dockside levies counted twice by frightened paymasters. Every man ashore has marched in war." "Nah. And the remainder?" Garrisons, ship crews, handlers, craftsmen, wounded veterans, and men guarding our contracts in Essos. They will follow if required. Cersei disliked explanations that sounded like corrections. Yet as Harry spoke, she heard movement beyond the throne room windows. The measured clatter of an army taking possession of her city. Not a rabble. Not a host drawn together by feudal obligation and ready to melt away when harvest came. These men belonged to their company before they belonged to themselves. "What do you know of Daenerys Targaryen?" she asked. Harry's expression changed almost imperceptibly. "She has 3 dragons. An army of Unsullied, Dothraki horsemen, perhaps 40,000, perhaps twice that. Ships from the Iron Islands. Support from Dorne and Highgarden. She has advisors who know Westeros." "Tyrion," Cersei said. "Yes." Euron laughed. "A dwarf, eunuchs, savages, and a girl who has never fought a real war." "The girl conquered Slaver's Bay," Harry replied. "With dragons. A commander who possesses dragons would be a fool not to use them." The throne room became still. Cersei studied him. "Are you afraid?" "I have survived by respecting whatever can kill me." "Can your company kill dragons?" "No." Euron's grin widened. Harry continued. "But dragons require places to land, food to eat, riders to command them, ships to transport their armies, and allies to open gates. Those things can be killed." Qyburn raised his head. "Precisely." The old maester stepped forward and unfolded a parchment upon the council table. It showed Blackwater Bay, Dragonstone, Driftmark, and the coast of the Crownlands. "Her natural landing place is Dragonstone," he said. "It was her birthplace and the ancestral seat of House Targaryen. Its castle is strong but lightly held. If she lands there unopposed, she gains a fortress within a few days' sail of the capital." Cersei looked at Harry. "Then you will deny it to her." Jaime turned sharply. "Dragonstone? The island has been abandoned since Stannis fell," Cersei said. "A few caretakers, fishermen, perhaps smugglers. We occupy the castle before she arrives. We mount Qyburn's scorpions upon its walls and hide Euron's fleet beyond the eastern point." "None. You would place the Golden Company on an island beneath 3 dragons," Jaime said. "I would place them between those dragons and my throne." Harry studied the map. "How much warning will we have?" "Spies in Pentos and Volantis report her fleet is preparing to sail," Qyburn said. "She may already have departed. Then every hour matters." Harry placed 2 fingers upon Dragonstone. "The main castle is built into volcanic rock. If provisioned, it can withstand siege. But if she arrives with dragons, holding the walls will not be enough." "Nay. What do you require?" Cersei asked. "Stone throwers on the northern cliffs, scorpions concealed under wet hides, signal fires on Driftmark, ships disguised as fishing craft, wildfire if your stores remain." Jaime stared at him. "You would use wildfire on Dragonstone?" "Not in the castle," Harry said. "In the harbor." Cersei's smile returned. Within 2 days, the Golden Company began leaving the city it had scarcely entered. Euron objected at first. He wanted his men displayed in Queen's Landing, where every lord and beggar could see what he had purchased for the queen he intended to marry. Cersei silenced him by promising that if he trapped Daenerys' fleet against Dragonstone, songs would name him the greatest reaver since the Grey King. Vanity did what command could not. Under darkness, Golden Company transports sailed toward Dragonstone. Men, horses, siege engines, and 6 elephants crowded their decks. 2 elephants remained in Queen's Landing, where their presence alone became a daily proclamation that the Queen possessed wonders no southern king had commanded before. Jaime rode through the camps outside the walls on the morning after the fleet departed. The remaining sellswords drilled without laughter. Archers loosed in volleys. Pikemen formed squares. Engineers assembled scorpions from numbered pieces. Even the camp followers moved according to marked lanes. He found Harry beside a pen of restless horses. "You truly believe Dragonstone can be held?" Jaime asked. Harry stroked the nose of a gray destrier. "No fortress can be held forever. That was not my question. No, it was the question beneath your question. Jaime glanced toward the city. My sister believes every danger can be turned against another danger. Queens often do. You served men who called themselves kings before. I served contracts. The Golden Company was founded to put a Blackfire on the Iron Throne. It was. And now it defends a Lannister queen against a Targaryen. Harry's hand stilled on the horse's face. The dead do not write new contracts. Yet his voice held something Jaime recognized. Not doubt exactly. Memory. Across the narrow sea, descendants of exiles had grown old telling stories of red earth, green fields, cold rivers, black castles, and a throne made from 1,000 swords. The Golden Company had toasted Westeros for generations. They had sworn to cross beneath black dragons and return what had been stolen from their founders. Now they had returned beneath the lion. Jaime wondered how long gold could command men whose ghosts desired something else. That night, rain hammered the windows of the Queen's chamber. Cersei stood over a brazier, burning reports one by one. After reading them, Jaime watched the parchment curl. Dorne has gathered ships, she said. The Tyrells are calling their banners. The North has crowned Ned Stark's bastard, Jon Snow, a bastard with a stolen crown. The North does not concern us while the dead are marching. Cersei looked at him. You still believe that nonsense? I saw the thing in the dragon pit. That was later, she said coldly, as though discussing a future she had already decided to betray. For now, the only dead men that concern me are those who will die for Daenerys. Jaime approached the fire. And if the Golden Company dies on Dragonstone, then they will have purchased time. And if they win, then Daenerys loses before the realm learns to fear her. Cersei dropped the final report into the brazier. Far out in the darkness, lightning revealed the black walls of Dragonstone. Golden Company men hauled scorpions into caverns above the harbor. Engineers buried jars of wildfire beneath abandoned docks. Elephants were led into the outer bailey, their feet striking sparks from ancient stone. Harry Strickland climbed the battlements and looked east, where dawn would eventually reveal sails. Behind him stood a castle carved into the shape of dragons. Before him lay the sea that had carried conquerors west for 8,000 years. He had been paid to stop the last of them. Daenerys had imagined her return to Westeros so often that the truth of it seemed too small. There were no cheering crowds along the shore, no bells, no banners unfurling from the towers of Dragonstone. Only dark stone, cold waves, and mist clinging to the cliffs like the breath of a sleeping beast. She stood at the prow while the island grew before her. The castle appeared gradually. First came a jagged tower shaped like a dragon's head. Then black battlements emerged through the fog. Rain had begun before dawn, soft enough that it silvered the deck without obscuring the coast. Drogon flew low over the water, his wings beating spray from the sea. Rhaegal and Viserion followed above the fleet. Daenerys felt no fear. She had crossed the red waste on dying feet. She had walked into fire. She had faced warlocks, masters, assassins, and kings who believed a girl could be bought, bedded, or broken. This island was hers by blood, and beyond it lay the kingdom stolen from her family. Tyrion joined her at the rail. Dragonstone, he said. It looks exactly as welcoming as I remember. You have been here? Once, briefly. Stannis invited no one and entertained them even less. Why are there no banners? Tyrion peered toward the towers. Perhaps the caretakers fled when they heard you were coming. Varys approached from behind. The wind flattened his robes against his body. My birds reported the island abandoned. How recent were those reports? Daenerys asked. 3 weeks. Grey Worm came across the deck in armor, his helmet beneath one arm. The small boats are ready. Unsullied will land first. Daenerys shook her head. No, I will set foot on Westeros before any soldier. Tyrion smiled. A fine image for the histories. Less fine if an archer is waiting behind those rocks. Drogon roared overhead as though in answer. Daenerys looked toward the empty battlements. Let them shoot. The first boats lowered into the water. Unsullied descended rope ladders in silence. Dothraki crowded the rails of the transport ships. Restless and contemptuous of the gray sea. Horses whinnied below decks. Drums began beating from somewhere in the fleet, slow and deep. On Dragonstone, beneath wet hides and black canvas, Golden Company crews waited beside their scorpions. Harry Strickland lay prone behind a ridge overlooking the harbor. Rainwater ran beneath his breastplate. Beside him, Captain Laswell Peake held a Myrish glass to one eye. 3. Laswell whispered. Gods preserve us. They have not preserved anyone yet, Harry said. The plan depended upon patience. Euron's fleet was hidden beyond the eastern side of the island. Black sails lowered, hulls sheltered behind cliffs. Golden Company troops occupied the castle but had removed every banner. Fires were prohibited. Horses had been moved into caverns. The elephants remained in the outer yard beneath great awnings, their handlers struggling to keep them calm whenever dragons passed overhead. The harbor appeared deserted. 30 small boats left Daenerys' fleet. Harry counted the distance. He could see her now, through the Myrish glass. Silver hair, dark cloak, a small figure standing among armored men. The Dragon Queen had come ashore at the head of her invasion. One command could kill her. A scorpion bolt, loosed from concealment, might pierce the boat or strike the woman herself. Yet Harry had watched the dragons wheel above her. If she died too soon, the creatures might burn the island without restraint. Better to let her reach land. Better to draw the fleet into the harbor and the soldiers onto the beaches. He lowered the glass. Hold. The first boat scraped against black sand. Grey Worm leapt into knee-deep water. Unsullied formed a shield wall around Daenerys as she stepped from the boat. Her boots sank slightly into the wet shore. She looked down. Westeros. For an instant, all other things vanished. The uncertain silence, the mist, the council of cautious men. She bent and touched the sand with her gloved fingers. Missandei watched her with a smile. Then a horn sounded from the castle. Not a welcoming horn. A signal. Black canvas fell from the cliffs. Scorpions appeared in rows. Shields! Grey Worm shouted. The first bolts came screaming down. One struck the boat behind Daenerys and tore through 3 men. Another smashed into the water, throwing spray higher than a mast. A third pierced an Unsullied shield and flung its bearer backward. Drogon roared. Daenerys raised her head as dozens of shafts rose from the battlements. Back to the boats! Tyrion shouted. No, she said. The harbor erupted. Green fire burst from beneath the docks, spreading across the water in blinding sheets. Hidden jars ignited one after another. 3 landing boats vanished instantly. Men hurled themselves overboard, only to surface shrieking in burning water. From beyond the eastern cliffs came the thunder of drums. Euron's fleet rounded the island. Black sails rose. Ironborn ships drove into the flank of Daenerys' transports while her fleet was compressed near the harbor mouth. Grappling hooks flew. Flaming arrows darkened the sky. Aboard the Silence, Euron stood at the prow laughing. The dragons descended. Drogon swept toward the cliffs, fire building in his throat. Harry watched through the rain. Loose by ranks, he commanded. The first line of scorpions fired. Most bolts missed. One passed beneath Drogon's wing. Another splintered against the rock. But the attack forced the dragon upward, spoiling his descent. Rhaegal turned toward the battlements. Viserion followed. Second rank. More bolts rose. One struck Rhaegal along the ribs. It did not penetrate deeply, but the force spun him in the air. His scream shook the castle. Daenerys staggered as though the iron had entered her own flesh. Regal? The dragon climbed, trailing dark drops that vanished into the sea. Daenerys turned toward the cliffs. Her expression was no longer triumph or wonder. It was fury. "Drogon," she whispered. He came to her. The black dragon landed upon the beach hard enough to throw sand over the shield wall. Unsullied scattered from his claws. Daenerys seized one of the spines along his neck and climbed. Tyrion caught her cloak. "Do not." She looked down at him. "They have trapped the fleet," he said. "That is what they want. If you attack the castle now, every scorpion will fire at you. They wounded my child, and they will kill him if you give them the chance." Another ship exploded in the harbor. Dothraki horses screamed below decks. Ironborn poured over the rails of a transport while Unsullied fought them in cramped ranks. Grey Worm shouted orders to the surviving landing parties. "Form on the Queen! Archers, cliffs!" Daenerys stared at the castle she had believed would welcome her. Golden Company shields now appeared along the battlements. Gold flashed through rain. A crowned skull banner rose over the gatehouse. Tyrion saw it and went pale. "The Golden Company," he said. Varys stood behind him, horrified. "They were in Essos. They are not now." Drogon growled beneath Daenerys. Smoke poured between his teeth. She looked toward the fleet. The harbor trap had split her invasion in two. Her vanguard was ashore, but the majority remained aboard ships under attack. Euron's warships had already captured 3 transports. Others were turning desperately toward open water, colliding with one another in the narrow passage. The correct choice was retreat. Every instinct in her body rejected it. She had come home. She had touched the soil. She had seen the castle built by her ancestors. To leave now felt like surrendering not an island, but the truth of who she was. Missandei reached her through the confusion. Daenerys, her name spoken without title, cut through the sound of battle. Missandei's face was wet with rain and spray. Blood marked one cheek, though the wound was not hers. "Your people need you alive." Daenerys closed her eyes for a heartbeat. Then she mounted Drogon. "Signal the fleet to withdraw," she ordered. "Grey Worm, hold the beach until the boats return. Tyrion, get Missandei aboard." "And you?" Tyrion asked. "I will give them something else to fear." Drogon launched. Daenerys did not fly at the castle. She turned toward Euron's fleet. The black dragon descended over the harbor mouth, too low and too fast for the scorpions on the cliffs to track. Flames struck the first ironborn galley from bow to stern. Men became shadows within orange fire. Drogon banked, his wingtip almost touching a mast, and burned a second ship as it attempted to turn. Rhaegal and Viserion joined him despite the blood on Rhaegal's scales. The Ironborn formation broke. Daenerys' surviving ships forced their way toward open sea. Unsullied withdrew from the beach in disciplined ranks, carrying their wounded. Grey Worm boarded the final boat only after every living soldier he could reach had left the sand. Golden Company archers fired until the range became impossible. Harry watched the dragons cover the retreat. He had hoped to destroy half the fleet. Perhaps he had destroyed a quarter. He had killed hundreds, captured ships, and denied the enemy her ancestral fortress. Yet, he felt no victory when Drogon turned above the bay. The Dragon Queen looked directly toward the battlements. Even at that distance, Harry imagined he could feel her gaze. Cersei had commanded him to deny Daenerys a foothold. He had done more than that. He had humiliated her before her own army. Men often forgave wounds when survival demanded it. Queens forgave nothing. By sunset, Daenerys' fleet had vanished south into rain. The beach was littered with bodies and splintered boats. Green fire still burned in pockets along the harbor. Golden Company soldiers descended from the cliffs to gather prisoners. Harry entered the castle at dusk. In the chamber of the painted table, he found a map of Westeros carved into wood. Dust had gathered in the valleys. The painted kingdoms waited beneath his hand. He looked at Dragonstone. Then he looked south, toward Dorne. "She will land somewhere," Laswa said behind him. Harry nodded. And when she does? We learn whether the Queen in King's Landing paid us to win a war, Harry replied, or merely to begin one. The sea carried them south. All through the night, the surviving ships limped away from Dragonstone beneath torn sails. Some listed from holes near the waterline. Others were so crowded with men rescued from burning transports that sailors could scarcely reach the rigging. The wounded lay beneath every scrap of canvas. The dead had no place at all. They were given to the sea. Grey Worm read each name before the bodies went overboard. Unsullied did not weep. They stood in rain and listened while their brothers vanished into black water. Dothraki mourned differently. They cut their arms, howled curses at the unseen island, and swore to pile the skulls of the enemy beneath Daenerys' throne. Daenerys remained in the captain's cabin. Tyrion had seen her angry before. He had watched her sentence men to death, defy cities, and threaten kingdoms. This silence frightened him more. She stood over a map while the ship pitched beneath them. Her wet clothes had been replaced, but her hair remained unbraided, silver strands clinging to her face. A dark smear marked one hand where she had touched Rhaegal's blood. The dragon flew above the fleet despite his wound. Daenerys had refused every suggestion that he land upon a transport. No deck could bear his weight safely in the storm, and she would not risk another iron bolt while he was vulnerable. "How many?" she asked. Tyrion looked at the figures Varys had written. 812 confirmed dead. And missing? More than 2,000. Ships? 26 lost, 9 captured. 6 damaged badly enough that they may not reach port. Which port? Tyrion hesitated. That was the question upon which the invasion now depended. Dragonstone was closed to them. King's Landing was heavily defended. Driftmark might already have submitted to Cersei, and even if it had not, its harbors were too small for the entire host. Highgarden lay beyond the reach, accessible only through ports likely watched by Euron. Dorne remained loyal through Elaria Sand, but its coast was distant and its supply roads poor. "We turn for Sunspear," Varys said. Daenerys looked at him. "You told me Dragonstone was empty. It was when my birds last reported." "Your birds failed?" "Yes." The simple answer disarmed her fury for half a breath. Varys lowered his eyes. "I will not excuse it. Cersei moved the Golden Company more swiftly than I believed possible. Euron must have sailed directly from Essos. You did not know he had gone." "No." "You did not know the company had accepted her contract." "No." "You did not know they had fortified my home." "No." Daenerys placed both hands on the table. The wood creaked beneath her grip. "Then tell me something you do know." Varys remained silent. Tyrion stepped between them before anger chose a victim. "We know Cersei fears you." Daenerys laughed once without humor. "She defeated me before I set foot beyond a beach. She surprised you. That is not the same as defeating you. Tell that to the dead." "I would if the dead listened. The living still do." Grey Worm entered. Blood had dried along the edge of his armor. A bandage covered his upper arm. Daenerys straightened. "You should be with the healers." "I have been healed." "You were struck." "I can fight." "That was not my question." Grey Worm's expression softened slightly. "I will rest when my queen is safe." "Your queen led you into a trap. You let us out." Tyrion saw the words reach her where counsel could not. Grey Worm approached the map. "The soldiers ask where we land." "Sunspear," Varys repeated. "Dorne can receive us." "Dorne cannot feed the Dothraki," Tyrion said. "Not for long. Much of the land between Sunspear and the Reach is desert or mountain. Moving the horde north would take weeks. Then we sail for Highgarden," Daenerys said. "Euron will expect that. Euron expects us to flee. He will be hunting the damaged ships. We cannot fight another fleet engagement while half our men are still below decks. Now." Daenerys looked toward the ceiling as thunder rolled over the ship. "I have 3 dragons. 1 wounded." The cabin chilled. Tyrion did not retreat from the words. "Rhaegal is injured. Drogon and Viserion can destroy ships, but not without risk. They cannot guard every transport at once. Cersei's plan was not to kill the dragons. It was to make you spend them protecting men and wood. She learned that from you? No? From anyone who has ever fought a stronger enemy. Missandei appeared in the doorway. She had been helping the healers and wore a borrowed wool dress stained at the sleeves. "There are children on 3 of the ships," she said. "Families from Meereen. Servants. Freed people who chose to follow us." Daenerys' eyes narrowed. They were meant to remain behind. Some hid aboard. Why? Because they believed you would lead them to a better world. The ship rolled. A cup slid from the table and shattered on the floor. Daenerys closed her eyes. When she spoke again, her voice had changed. Anger remained, but it was contained within command. "We divide the fleet." Tyrion began to object. She raised a hand. "The damaged ships and civilians sail for Sunspear under Euron Greyjoy. The Unsullied and the strongest transports go with them. Grey Worm will land, secure the city, and begin moving supplies north." Grey Worm frowned. "And the Queen?" "I take the dragons and the Dothraki ships west." "Toward Highgarden?" Tyrion asked. "No, toward Casterly Rock." Tyrion stared at the map. "That was our later objective. It is our objective now. Casterly Rock is on the other side of the continent, which is why Cersei will not expect us there. The voyage around Dorne will be long. Euron may follow. Then let him." Tyrion studied her. "You want him to see the Dothraki fleet and believe it is the heart of the invasion. I want him to chase me while Grey Worm lands in Dorne. And when you reach Casterly Rock, I take your home." The words struck with more force than she intended. Tyrion looked down at the carved western coast. "Casterly Rock has never fallen," he said. "Neither had Meereen. Meereen's walls did not rise from a mountain. You told me there are drains beneath the western face." Tyrion slowly raised his eyes. As a boy, he had been placed in charge of the cisterns and sewer systems by a father who thought filth an appropriate kingdom for a malformed son. Tyrion had rebuilt tunnels, widened channels, and learned passages no knight had bothered to know. He had once proposed sending Unsullied through them, but the Unsullied were sailing for Dorne. Daenerys touched the western shore on the map. "I will not attack with an army," she said. "I will attack with dragons." Tyrion's mouth tightened. "If you burn Casterly Rock, every lord in Westeros will believe Cersei's stories. The foreign queen, come to destroy ancient houses. I am not foreign. They will say you are. They already call me savage. Then do not prove them right." Daenerys leaned closer. "What would you have me do? Hide in Dorne while Cersei tells the realm I fled? Wait until every lord who might join me decides the dragons can be beaten?" Tyrion had no answer that did not sound like cowardice. Varys did. "Win one victory," he said. They turned toward him. "Not a massacre," Varys continued. "Not a burned castle. A victory men can understand. Cersei has purchased soldiers with borrowed coin. Her alliance rests upon fear and appearance. Break either, and the rest may fracture." "Where?" Daenerys asked. "Old Town." Tyrion shook his head immediately. "No. The city is wealthy, close to the western coast, and filled with men who despise Cersei for destroying the faith. It is also filled with tens of thousands of civilians. I did not suggest burning it. Euron's principal supply base is the Arbor and the western ports. If his fleet follows the Queen around Dorne, Highgarden's ships can strike his rear. If Daenerys appears over Old Town without attacking, the High Towers may reconsider which queen they wish to offend." Menda. The Hightowers have avoided every war they could, Tyrion said, which makes survival their strongest loyalty. Daenerys looked from Old Town to Highgarden. Lady Olenna expects me, she said. Then do not disappoint her, Varys replied. But do not arrive where Cersei expects you. The council argued until dawn. In the end, Daenerys altered the plan again. The wounded fleet would sail for Sunspear. Grey Worm and the Unsullied would establish a secure landing, but the dragons and Dothraki would accompany Daenerys toward the Reach. Yara's remaining warships would scatter into small squadrons, some showing themselves near Dorne, others near the Stepstones. Ravens would be sent from Sunspear announcing that Daenerys had landed with her full strength. Meanwhile, the Queen herself would move unseen along the southern coast. It was not the triumphant return she had imagined. It was war. 3 days later, Rhaegal finally landed upon a barren island south of Cape Wrath. Daenerys sat beside him through the night while healers cut the iron head from beneath a scale. The dragon's blood steamed upon the stones. He snapped at every hand but hers. When the bolt was removed, Daenerys held it. The weapon was longer than she was tall. Golden Company markings had been carved near the base, but the ironwork was Westerosi. Qyburn's design, Tyrion believed. Daenerys carried the bolt to the cliff and looked north, where the horizon hid the kingdoms she had come to rule. I offered them mercy before they knew me, she said. Tyrion stood behind her. They do not know you still. They know I can bleed. Every ruler bleeds. My father believed fear was strength. Your father believed many things near the end. She turned, the bolt in her hands. And Cersei? She believes fear is the only strength left to her. Daenerys threw the iron into the sea. Then I will show the realm the difference. Yet as the bolt vanished beneath the waves, another truth remained. She had come to Westeros believing the war would begin when she chose. Cersei had begun it without her. Highgarden received Daenerys beneath closed gates. The dragons circled above the walls, while horns called through towers shaped like flowers. Reach soldiers crowded the battlements, bows in hand, though no man was foolish enough to knock an arrow. Daenerys waited outside with 300 Dothraki riders. She had left the greater Khalasar hidden among hills and orchards several leagues south. Even concealed, they terrified the countryside. Small folk abandoned farms at the sight of mounted scouts. Septons rang bells in villages. Rumors raced ahead of her. The Silver Queen drank blood. The horsemen ate children. The dragons had burned Dragonstone to ash rather than accept defeat. Cersei had not wasted her victory. She had sent ravens before Daenerys' fleet escaped the bay. Every lord in Westeros heard that the invader had been driven from her ancestral seat. The Queen's proclamations claimed the Golden Company had slain 10,000 foreign savages and wounded all 3 dragons. Some reports declared Daenerys dead. Looking upon Highgarden's sealed gates, Tyrion understood the damage. A story could conquer ground no army had yet reached. At last, the drawbridge lowered. Lady Olenna's guards escorted them through gardens bright with summer flowers. The beauty of the place seemed almost insulting after the blood and rain of Dragonstone. Fountains played beneath marble nymphs. Bees moved among lavender. Servants stared from colonnades as Drogon's shadow crossed the lawns. Olenna waited in the great hall. Illyria Sand stood near her with 2 of the sand snakes. Euron Greyjoy had arrived that morning from Sunspear aboard a swift ship, bringing word that Grey Worm's landing had succeeded. Several Reach lords were also present, among them Lord Tarly, Lord Rowan, and men from the Fossaways and Redwynes. Their faces held no celebration. Olenna looked Daenerys over. You appear remarkably alive. Cersei will be disappointed. Cersei is always disappointed. It is the closest thing she has to faith. Daenerys approached the table. Your gates were closed. My bannermen heard you lost half your fleet. A quarter. They heard a dragon was killed. Regal lives. They heard the Golden Company holds Dragonstone. That is true. A murmur passed through the Reach lords. Olenna's eyes sharpened. Sit. Daenerys remained standing. So that you may question whether I am worth supporting? so that you may avoid looming over an old woman who has buried everyone she loved." The hall became still. Daenerys sat. Olenna lowered herself opposite her. "You arrived in Westeros with dragons, eunuchs, horse lords, ironborn, Dornish, and the cleverest little lion ever born. Cersei had no friends, no gold, no sons, and scarcely a kingdom. Yet she holds your castle, has bloodied your army, and now pays the finest sellswords in the world to guard her." "She surprised us," Tyrion said. Olenna looked at him. "A pretty word for losing. We preserved most of our strength. Another pretty phrase." Ellaria stepped forward. "Dorne stands with Daenerys. The Unsullied are ashore at Sunspear. My armies will march when commanded." "Then your armies must cross the Prince's Pass or Boneway," Lord Tarly said. "Both can be held by smaller forces." Ellaria's gaze hardened. "Then we will kill the forces holding them. While your soldiers climb rocks, the Golden Company can sail from Dragonstone and land behind you." "Are you suggesting we surrender?" "I am suggesting that enthusiasm is not a road." Daenerys watched Randyll Tarly. He was stern, hard-faced, and openly distrustful. Tyrion had warned her that Tarly possessed more battlefield experience than almost any living lord in the Reach. "Will you fight for me?" she asked. Randyll did not bow. "I swore to House Tyrell. That was not my question. My sons and I defend the Reach." "Against whom?" "Against any who bring ruin to it." Olenna's mouth twisted. "He means he has not decided." Randyll looked at her. "I mean the Reach cannot survive another war fought for someone else's crown. My granddaughter died because Cersei murdered her beneath the Great Septi, and my men died fighting lions, wolves, and Baratheons while our harvests rotted." Daenerys leaned forward. "Cersei will not leave you in peace. Nor will you." "No," Daenerys said. "I will not." The bluntness surprised him. "I came for the Iron Throne," she continued. "I will not pretend otherwise. Those who fight me will be defeated. Those who join me will keep their lands and titles so long as they do not abuse the people beneath them. I will not burn your farms. I will not sack your castles. But I will not return across the sea because Cersei won one battle." "Nay," Lord Rowan whispered to the man beside him. Randyll's face remained unreadable. Olenna tapped one finger upon the table. "What is your plan?" Tyrion unfolded a map. "Cersei expects a direct march toward King's Landing. We will not give it to her." The Dornish armies advanced slowly through both mountain passes, forcing the crown to divide its attention. The Reach gathers at Highgarden, but does not march east. Yara's ships raid supply lines between Dragonstone and the capital. "No. And the dragons?" Ellaria asked. Daenerys answered. "We take the Arbor." Redwine men protested at once. Olenna silenced them with a glance. "The Arbor belongs to my house through blood and loyalty. The Redwine fleet is the largest in Westeros," Tyrion said. "If secured, it can replace much of what we lost." Lord Paxter Redwine was absent, held near King's Landing by duties that had become indistinguishable from captivity. His sons were divided between court and command. The Arbor's loyalty could not be assumed. "We do not attack," Daenerys said. "We appear. We offer protection. If the Redwines accept, their fleet joins ours. If they refuse, the dragons destroy only warships that leave harbor." "You would blockade your allies?" Randyll asked. "I would prevent Cersei from using them." Olenna considered the plan. "And while you sail west, the Golden Company remains on Dragonstone. For now, they will reinforce the capital. Only if they abandon the fortress they took." A servant entered hurriedly and whispered to a Tyrell guard. The guard crossed to Olenna. "A raven from Bitterbridge," he said. Olenna read the message. Her face changed. "What is it?" Daenerys asked. "Golden Company riders have been seen north of the Blackwater." Tyrion frowned. "How many?" "Hundreds, perhaps more." "They are not all on Dragonstone," Olenna said. Randyll moved to the map. "Cersei divided them. Tyrion felt the shape of the enemy's plan before the details arrived. "She holds Dragonstone with enough men to make us believe the full company remains there," he said. "The rest returned to the mainland." "Returned for what?" Illyria asked. Randall's finger traced the road south from King's Landing. Highgarden. The hall erupted. Reach lords called for riders, scouts, ravens, and levies. Olenna remained seated, watching them expose their fear. "How quickly can they move?" Daenerys asked Randall. "If they travel light, 20 miles a day. More on good roads." "Nainum, Kabiri, Kanbebnin, Izadar. They have elephants," Yara said. "Not if they seek speed." Tyrion studied the map. Cersei had anticipated Highgarden as Daenerys' refuge. She did not need to besiege its walls immediately. The Golden Company could seize bridges, cut roads, threaten harvests, and force uncertain Reach lords to choose before Daenerys consolidated power. Worse, the Company's arrival transformed Cersei's weakness into legitimacy. Lords who would never trust Dothraki might rally to discipline men wearing familiar armor. "Call every banner," Olenna ordered. Some lords hesitated. She saw it. "You swore to my house." Lord Fossaway bowed. Lord Rowan followed. Randall Tarley did not. "My army is already gathered at Horn Hill," he said. "I will return and prepare the southern roads." "You will bring them here," Olenna said. "I will defend my lands. You will obey your liege. I will not leave my seat open to Dornish raiders while the Queen invites them across our border." Illyria stepped toward him, but Daenerys raised a hand. Randall faced her. "You ask whether I will fight for you," he said. "I ask what happens after. Do the Dothraki return east? Do the Dornish forget generations of blood? Do your dragons obey law? Does a queen raised among strangers understand the realm she claims?" "May. Why?" Daenerys rose. "I understand that men like you always demand certainty from those you intend to doubt." His jaw tightened. "You will have your certainty," she continued. "Cersei murdered her allies, destroyed the holiest place in your faith, and crowned herself without right. I offer a choice. You may join me now and help shape the peace that follows, or you may wait until Cersei's army stands at your gates and learn what your caution purchased." "Nay, I am calm." Randall bowed stiffly to Olenna, not Daenerys. Then he left the hall. Several lesser lords watched him go with expressions that said their loyalty might follow. Olenna exhaled. "He is a better soldier than politician." "Politicians rarely know when they have become soldiers," Tyrion said. Olenna looked at Daenerys. "You wanted one victory. You need it sooner than you think." Daenerys walked to a stained glass window. Beyond it, her dragons circled over Highgarden. Men in the courtyard stared upward, some in awe, others in terror. At Dragonstone, she had been surprised by an enemy who understood the value of preparation. At Highgarden, she discovered a more dangerous truth. An army did not need to defeat her dragons if it could persuade Westeros to fear the peace that followed them. That evening, scouts brought further news. The Golden Company had crossed the Blackwater in 3 columns. Harry Strickland led the center. Crownland levies marched beside him. 2 elephants accompanied the baggage train as living banners of Cersei's wealth and reach. The army did not advance directly toward Highgarden. It turned southwest and seized the Roseret. Every wagon carrying grain toward the capital came under its control. Every raven tower along the route raised the lion banner. Villages were ordered to provide fodder and received stamped receipts promising royal payment. The Sellswords did not loot. They did not burn. They paid. Cersei had unleashed a foreign army that behaved more honorably than many Westerosi hosts. By the time Daenerys understood the brilliance of it, half the Reach was already asking which queen truly threatened their homes. Winter came to the north while summer still clung to the south. Snow fell over Winterfell in thin, uncertain sheets, melting upon the warmer stones and gathering in pale lines along the battlements. The castle smelled of wood smoke, wet wool, horses, and too many people crowded behind old walls. Jon Snow stood before the assembled northern lords, with 2 letters in his hand. The first came from the Citadel. The second came from Queen's Landing. Neither offered hope. The maesters confirmed deposits of dragonglass beneath Dragonstone, Jon said. Enough to arm every man in the north. Lord Glover shifted beneath his furs. Dragonstone is held by the Golden Company, so Cersei claims. Her letter bears the seals of 3 Crownland houses and Lord Tarly. Sansa looked up sharply. Tarly? The second message announced that Randyll Tarly had accepted Cersei as lawful queen in exchange for command of the armies defending the Reach. It accused Olenna Tyrell of inviting Dothraki savages into Westeros, and named Daenerys an enemy of every true-born lord. Jon had read it twice. He cared little who sat the Iron Throne. The dead did not. Yet every road south now led through someone else's war. We cannot mine the dragonglass without taking Dragonstone, Davos said. Then let the Dragon Queen take it, Lord Royce replied. She has dragons. She tried, Sansa said. She failed. The words carried more weight because no one had expected them to be true. The northern lords muttered. Stories from the south had grown stranger with every raven. Some said the Golden Company had killed a dragon. Others claimed Daenerys had burned half the Reach after being denied entry to Highgarden. One report insisted an elephant had broken the gates of Bitterbridge by itself. Jon distrusted all of them. What do we know? He asked. Sansa answered. Daenerys landed at Dragonstone and was driven away. She has joined the Tyrells in Dornish. The Golden Company controls the Roserad. Cersei is calling every lord to defend the realm against foreign invasion. And the Night King is marching south, Jon said. The hall quieted. We send another raven to Dragonstone, Davos suggested. Offer peace. Tell the Golden Company why we need the island. A laugh rose from somewhere among the Umbers. You want to ask Sellswords for permission to dig beneath their castle? Lord Glover said. I have asked worse men for greater favors. Would they believe us? Davos shrugged. I barely believe us, and I saw the dead. Sansa folded her hands upon the table. Cersei wants us looking south. Every soldier we send weakens the wall. We need the dragonglass. We also need men alive to use it. Jon understood her caution. Since returning to Winterfell, Sansa had treated every sack of grain and length of leather as though armies depended upon it. Often they did. She remembered siege, hunger, and the price of trusting promises made by powerful strangers. But Jon had looked into the blue eyes of the Night King. Caution would not stop him. Then I go south, Jon said. The reaction was immediate. No, Sansa said. Several lords spoke over her. Jon raised his voice. I will not take an army. Davos and a small guard will come with me. We speak to whoever holds Dragonstone. We mine the glass or purchase it. You are the king in the north, Lord Manderley said. You cannot ride into a war between 2 queens. I can, and if the dead are coming. Sansa stood. And when one queen captures you, when the other demands that we bend the knee for your return, I do not intend to be captured. Ned did not intend to be executed. Robb did not intend to be murdered at a wedding. The names silenced him. Sansa rarely invoked them before the lords. Pain had hardened into argument. Jon stepped closer. If we do nothing, their deaths will not matter. None of ours will. They matter to me. To me as well. Then stop behaving as though only you understand sacrifice. For a moment, they were not king and lady, but 2 survivors of the same ruined house. Davos cleared his throat. Perhaps we send riders to Eastwatch first. Find whether any ships remain. If Dragonstone cannot be reached, there may be dragonglass elsewhere. Jon looked toward the hearth. He already knew the answer. Small deposits existed on Skagos, perhaps in the mountains, perhaps beneath old ruins. Not enough. Not soon enough. A maester entered carrying another message. This came from White Harbor. Jon broke the seal. The letter was not addressed to him, but copied from a proclamation distributed through every southern port. Queen Cersei offered pardons, lands, and gold to any northern lord who renounced Jon Snow and acknowledged the Iron Throne. In return, the crown promised men from the Golden Company to defend the wall after the foreign invader was defeated. Sansa read over his shoulder. She is trying to divide us. She is trying to buy time. With 10,000 sellswords, she may have enough. Jon looked around the hall. Some lords met his gaze. Others did not. Cersei understood fear well. She offered exactly what exhausted men wanted, someone else to fight their wars. That night, Jon walked the battlements alone. Snow thickened over the castle. Below, smiths worked by torchlight, hammering iron into spearheads. Children too young to fight carried coal. Men from the mountain clans slept beside Mormont archers in the barracks. Wildlings camped beyond the walls, distrusted by the same northerners who would soon need them. The realm was breaking into smaller and smaller pieces while a single enemy approached. Sansa found him near the eastern tower. "You have decided to go," she said. "Yes. I cannot stop you. You could try. I have learned the cost of trying to command men who believe destiny speaks only to them." Jon almost smiled. She stood beside him, looking over the snowy yard. "What will you offer the Golden Company?" she asked. "Gold, if we have it. We do not. Trade. We have little. Then the truth." Sansa's expression made clear what she thought truth was worth. "You said their founder wanted Westeros," she continued. "Why serve Cersei?" "Because she pays them. Men who cross the world for gold often want something gold cannot buy." Jon looked at her. She had spent years among men whose desires hid behind courtesy. Littlefinger had taught her suspicion more thoroughly than any maester could teach sums. "What do you think they want?" he asked. "To belong." South of Winterfell, ravens carried Cersei's promises into castles where old men remembered Targaryen fire, and young men dreamed of golden rewards. Harry Strickland's army continued down the Roserat. At every village, the company paid for grain and punished theft. Crownland knights who had expected foreign rabble found professionals who maintained roads, posted guards, and buried their dead. Psalms began before the battles did. The Golden Men had come home. In taverns, singers claimed they were descendants of Westerosi heroes exiled by dragon kings. They had returned not to conquer, but to free the realm from another foreign dragon queen. Qyburn's scribes ensured the verses spread. Harry heard one of those songs at an inn near Tumbleton. He sat alone in a back room while rain struck the shutters. Laswell Peake entered carrying captured messages. "The Dragon Queen is at Highgarden," Laswell said. "Dothraki camps south of the Mender. Dornish forces moving through the passes. And Tarly, riding to join us with 8,000 men." Harry poured wine. Laswell placed the messages on the table. "The men enjoy the songs. Men enjoy any song that claims their hunger was noble. Some believe it. Some of our grandfathers believed the Black Dragon would rise again." Laswell looked toward the door. "Beyond it, soldiers sang of home. Our grandfathers died believing it." Harry drank. Cersei's contract required the Golden Company to defend the crown and break the coalition forming around Daenerys. Yet the Queen's proclamations increasingly spoke not of payment, but heritage. She was turning the company's exile into a weapon. It worked too well. Westerosi villagers brought food without resistance. Hedge knights rode miles to enlist. Old Blackfire sympathies, buried for generations, emerged in whispers. Men who hated dragons but distrusted lions looked upon the crowned skull banners and saw neither. They saw possibility. "What else?" Harry asked. "A message from Dragonstone. The Northern King requests parley." Harry opened it. Jon Snow's letter was short. It spoke of the army of the dead Dragonglass and survival. It offered no flattery, no threat, and no pledge of loyalty. Laswell watched him read. Cersei ordered us to reject all northern envoys. Yes. Will you? Harry folded the letter. The company had spent generations telling itself that one day it would return to save Westeros from those who had stolen it. Now a king in the north claimed death itself was coming. Harry did not know whether to believe him, but he knew Cersei had forbidden him from listening. That alone made the letter worth answering. Cersei's victories multiplied without satisfying her. Dragonstone remained in her hands. The Golden Company controlled the Rosarat. Randall Tarley had brought 8,000 reachmen beneath the Lion Banner, and more lords declared for the crown each day. Still, Daenerys lived. Each morning, Cersei entered the council chamber expecting a raven that announced the Silver Queen's death. Each morning brought lesser news. A Dothraki raid had burned a baggage train near Ashford. Dornish spearmen had taken a watchtower in the Prince's Pass. 3 red wine galleys had vanished from the arbor. The victories continued, but the war did not end. She is gathering strength at Highgarden, Jaime said. She is trapped at Highgarden, Cersei replied. The painted table before them had been copied from reports and memory. Black stones marked Daenerys' forces. Gold marked the crown. The arrangement pleased Cersei. The black pieces appeared scattered. Dorne, Highgarden, ships near the arbor, Dothraki raiders across the reach. Gold held the center. Jaime saw something else. The black pieces surround our army. Randall Tarley stood opposite him. They are divided by rivers, mountains, and poor roads. The Dornish cannot reach Highgarden before we do. Daenerys has dragons, and she has not used them since Dragonstone. Because she is learning. Cersei's fingers tightened around her wine cup. You give her too much credit. I give the dragons credit. Euron lounged beside the table with one boot resting on an empty chair. Let her come. I have killed more ships than her beasts have. You attacked transports in a trapped harbor, Jaime said. Not dragons in open sky. Euron grinned. Jealous? Ah. A man who dresses like a drowned peacock. Enough, Cersei said. Qyburn placed a new device upon the table. A smaller model of the scorpions mounted at Dragonstone. The bolt that struck the green dragon failed to penetrate fully, he said. We have increased the weight of the head and altered the winding mechanism. The new design will loose with greater force. How many? Cersei asked. 20 complete in the city, 12 sent to Lord Strickland. More under construction. Randall examined the model. Too slow to move with an army. They can be mounted on wagons, which will break axles on reach roads. Qyburn smiled patiently. Then stronger axles must be built. Jaime watched the exchange. This council had become a gathering of men who did not trust one another, and a queen who believed mistrust was control. Randall despised Euron. Euron mocked the Golden Company. Qyburn served only Cersei. Harry Strickland remained in the field and communicated through envoys who answered questions carefully. Jaime commanded the city's defenses, yet Cersei ignored every suggestion that did not end with Daenerys dead. We should reinforce the Golden Company before they approach Highgarden, Jaime said. They have Tarley's men. Tarley's men have not fought Dothraki. They fought Robert Baratheon. Dothraki do not charge in armored lines. Randall bristled. My soldiers will hold. I do not doubt their courage. You doubt their commander? I doubt anyone who does not doubt himself. Cersei struck the table with her cup. Wine spilled across the crownlands. We are not here to soothe your pride, Harry Strickland will move against Highgarden within 10 days. Lord Tarley will cut the southern road. Euron will land men near the Manor and prevent retreat to the Arbor. When Daenerys flies to defend one front, the other too close. And if she attacks our center with all 3 dragons? Jaime asked. Then Qyburn's weapons kill them. No weapon has killed a dragon in 150 years. No dragons have faced these weapons. Jaime looked at her. She truly believed it. Not because she had studied dragons or understood the machines, but because belief had become necessary. Cersei could not tolerate a world containing anything more powerful than her will. A messenger entered and bowed. Your Grace, a raven from Dragonstone. Qyburn read the message first. His face remained placid, but Jaime noticed the pause. What? Cersei demanded. The Northern King has requested access to the island's dragonglass. Cersei laughed. Tell him to bend the knee. The garrison commander reports that Captain General Strickland has already answered. Silence settled. Cersei's voice lowered. Answered how? He granted the northern delegation safe passage for a parley. The cup left her hand. It struck the wall and shattered. Harry is not on Dragonstone, Jaime said. He sent instructions before marching south, Qyburn replied. Cersei rose. Without my leave. Perhaps he saw advantage in learning the North's intentions, Randall said. I did not hire him to think. Jaime almost laughed at the absurdity. You hired the most experienced professional army in Essos. I hired obedience. You hired a contract. Her eyes snapped toward him. Euron swung his boot from the chair. Perhaps the Golden Boys remember their old dragon loyalties. The Blackfires hated Targaryens, Randall said. They were Targaryens with a different banner. Cersei turned to the messenger. Send a raven. The northern envoys are to be seized. Jaime stepped forward. No. The word shocked the room. Cersei's face became still. The North has taken no side in this war, Jaime said. Seizing its kings and envoys will drive them to Daenerys. The North is already in rebellion. The North is fighting an enemy none of us understand. You believe Jon Snow's tales. I saw the dead man in the dragon pit. Again, the strange intrusion of a future truth entered the present dispute, born from memories of events that in this altered course had not yet occurred, but seemed to haunt Jaime all the same. He could not explain the certainty, only the dread. Cersei dismissed it with a look. Send the order, she said. The messenger fled. Jaime stared at his sister. If Harry refuses, he will not. And if he does, then he has broken contract. Qyburn folded his hands. The Iron Banks Agreement grants penalties for disobedience. Penalties? Jaime asked. You think bankers will frighten 10,000 armed men? Cersei looked toward the windows. 2 elephants stood in the outer yard, their handlers feeding them branches stripped from the king's gardens. Their paymasters, families, and holdings remain in Essos, she said. Every man has a chain. Wisdom is knowing where it fastens. Men. Far south, Harry received Cersei's order in a camp beside the Manor. He read it twice. Then he held it over a candle. Laswell watched the parchment burn. The Queen will hear, he said. The Queen hears everything. She will call it treason. She calls disagreement treason. Around them, Golden Company soldiers prepared for the march. Armorers hammered rivets. Cooks stirred kettles. Horses stamped in long lines. Beyond the camp, Randall Tarley's banners stretched across the fields. Harry dropped the blackened scrap into an empty cup. What did you tell Dragonstone? Laswell asked. To receive Jon Snow under guest right. Let him inspect the dragonglass deposits. Give him 1 shipload. Without payment? In exchange for proof. Proof of the dead. Yes. Laswell rubbed his jaw. And if the proof is real? Harry looked north. Then every contract in Westeros is written on a grave. The following morning, the combined royal army began moving toward Highgarden. Golden Company scouts rode first. Reach Knights followed. Elephants dragged siege equipment along roads widened by engineers. Behind them came long columns of infantry, wagons, camp followers, and crownland levies. No host so disciplined had marched through the Reach since the days of the Conqueror. Villagers gathered to watch. Some cheered the lion banners. More cheered the crowned skulls. Harry heard his soldiers answering in Westerosi tongues learned from parents and grandparents. Men pointed toward distant hills and claimed their ancestors had owned land beyond them. Others knelt to touch the earth. Home, they called it. Harry had spent his life believing the same. Yet as the army marched beneath Cersei's banner, he wondered whether returning home meant serving whoever occupied its throne, or deciding who deserved it. The battle began with wheat. Golden Company outriders entered a broad valley 3 leagues east of Highgarden and found the fields unharvested. Grain stood shoulder-high, ripened beneath the southern sun. Low stone walls divided the farms. A narrow stream crossed the valley before winding into wooded hills. Harry halted the army. Randyll Tarly rode beside him beneath a red huntsman banner. "The road continues through the fields," Randyll said. "Too narrow. For the elephants. For everything." The valley appeared peaceful. No Dothraki riders showed themselves on the ridges. No Reach banners flew from the farms. Birds moved through the wheat. Harry watched them. Too few. "Scouts forward," he ordered. The first riders advanced 50 paces. A horn sounded from the trees. Arrows rose from both sides. 2 scouts fell immediately. A horse screamed and rolled into the grain. Dothraki riders burst from concealed tracks along the hills, not charging the army, but sweeping around its flanks. Randyll drew his sword. "Form lines." Golden Company drums answered. Infantry moved with trained precision. Pikemen formed around the baggage wagons. Archers advanced between shield blocks. Scorpion crews unhitched their weapons and began winding torsion ropes. The Dothraki did not attack. They circled beyond bowshot, loosing arrows into exposed horses, shouting, vanishing behind hills, and appearing elsewhere. Their mobility stretched the royal line before the main battle had begun. Harry looked toward the wheat. "Burn it," Randyll said. "No. They are hidden inside. So are the farms and food we need. If we wait, the dragons come." Harry glanced at the sky. That was precisely what Daenerys wanted. For 5 days, Dothraki raids had harassed the march. They burned bridges behind the army, poisoned wells, and drove livestock west. Whenever the royal host formed for battle, they vanished. Highgarden's defenders remained behind walls, forcing Harry to move toward them while blind. A trumpet sounded from the rear. "Not Dothraki." Elephant handlers shouted as the animals became restless. The largest raised its trunk and bellowed. A shadow passed over the valley. Men looked up. Drogon descended from the sun. Scorpion crews spun their weapons. Officers screamed ranges. The dragon came not at the infantry, but along the baggage line where canvas-covered wagons held food and spare bolts. "Loose!" Harry shouted. 4 scorpions fired. Drogon folded one wing and dropped beneath the first bolt. The second passed behind him. The third grazed his tail. The fourth struck a wagon as the dragon's flames swept across the train. Fire ran over canvas. A wagon exploded. Iron scorpion bolts whirled through the air like spears thrown by giants. Men disappeared beneath splintered wood. Horses broke harnesses and fled into the wheat. Rhaegal attacked from the opposite side. His wound had not fully healed, but anger seemed to drive him faster. He burned the stream crossing, trapping the vanguard and center on opposite banks. Viserion descended upon Randyll's archers, not close enough to roast them, but near enough that men abandoned formation. Then the Dothraki charged. They came through the wheat in scattered waves, arrows darkening the air. They did not strike the pike squares. They attacked the spaces created by frightened horses and burning wagons. Crownland levies broke first. Dothraki riders rode among them, cutting men down as they fled. Randyll rallied his Reach infantry around the huntsman banners. "Hold!" he roared. Spears forward. The Tarly line held. Dothraki horses veered away from the spear points. Archers behind the line loosed disciplined volleys. Riders fell. One horse crashed through the front rank and crushed 3 men. But the gap closed. Harry climbed onto a broken wagon. Golden Company advance. Drums beat. His infantry moved through smoke. The company had fought mounted hordes before. Dothraki Khalasars, Jogos and Eye Raiders, horse archers from the eastern plains. They knew not to chase. They knew to protect flanks and let discipline exhaust fury. Gold-trimmed shields pushed forward. Dothraki riders found no gaps. For the first time that day, the royal center stabilized. Daenerys watched from Drogon's back. Below her, battle spread across fields and moving islands of men. Cersei's levies were breaking, but the Golden Company remained intact. Even dragons had failed to scatter them. Tyrion's plan required restraint. Destroy wagons. Break bridges. Frighten horses. Do not burn men who might later kneel. Daenerys had accepted the strategy at Highgarden. From the sky, restraint looked like watching her people die. Dothraki bodies marked a wheat. Riders who had crossed the world for her fell beneath Golden Company arrows. The enemy's scorpions turned with increasing speed, crews learning the dragon's movements. A bolt passed close enough that Drogon's body twisted beneath her. Daenerys looked toward the largest shield formation. At its center flew the crowned skull banner. One word would end it. Dracarys. Fire could consume shields, pikes, gold, and bone. The company that had humiliated her would vanish in moments. She drew breath. A horn sounded from Highgarden. Reach cavalry emerged from the western hills. Olenna had committed her army. Thousands of mounted knights descended in bright armor, golden roses streaming above them. They struck Randall's left wing while Dothraki attacked the right. Randall saw the charge, turned the reserve. His son Dickon carried the order, riding through arrows with his father's banner. The reserve formed too slowly. Reach knights crashed into Reach infantry, cousins killing cousins beneath the same summer sky. The battle became slaughter. Harry saw the royal left collapse. He ordered 2 Golden Company cohorts to support Randall, weakening his center. Dothraki riders immediately pressed closer. The dragons circled. Laswell reached him with blood on his face. We must withdraw. Across the stream, the western bank is lost. If we retreat through the bottleneck, the horsemen cut us apart. Then where? Harry looked east. The road behind them was burning. He looked west. Highgarden's cavalry blocked the valley. North and south lay hills controlled by Dothraki. A perfect trap. Almost. Bring the elephants forward, he said. Laswell stared. Into the wheat? Forward. Handlers drove the beasts toward the stream. The elephants hated fire, dragons shouting, and the smell of blood. Yet they moved. Enormous shapes armored in quilted leather and bronze plates. Archers rode in wooden towers upon their backs. Dothraki, who had mocked them now, hesitated. Horses smelled the elephants and panicked. Riders fought their reins as the beasts advanced through smoke. Harry pointed toward the northern hill. Break that line. The elephants charged. Not quickly. Not gracefully, but with irresistible weight. Stone walls collapsed beneath their feet. Wheat flattened. Dothraki arrows struck hides and armor without stopping them. One elephant seized a rider with its trunk and flung him through the air. Another crushed horse and man together. The northern encirclement opened. Withdraw by companies, Harry ordered. Golden Company units moved toward the breach, while Tarly men held the stream. It was not flight. Every 100 paces, Rear guards turned and formed shields. Scorpions were abandoned only after their mechanisms were smashed. Daenerys saw the retreat. "Now," she whispered. Drogon descended. This time she aimed for the elephants. Tyrion, watching from Highgarden's outer tower, understood before anyone else. "No?" he said. Olenna looked at him. "They are escaping. If she burns the beasts among our own riders." Drogon's flame struck the earth before the first elephant. The animal reared. Its handler fell. The beast turned, maddened, and ran back toward the withdrawing Golden Company. Men scattered. A second elephant followed, trumpeting in terror. Daenerys drove them into the enemy without burning them directly. The retreat collapsed into chaos. One elephant overturned a scorpion wagon. Another trampled a rank of Tarly's spearmen. Dothraki riders surged into the breach, cutting at fleeing men. Harry was thrown from his horse. He landed beneath smoke and screaming. Laswell dragged him behind a broken wall as Drogon passed overhead. Heat struck like an opened furnace. "Captain General!" Harry could not hear from one ear. He pushed himself upright. The crowned skull banner had fallen. Golden Company men were dying around it, not in ordered ranks now, but clusters. The army that had never broken was breaking. Randall rode through the chaos with a dozen knights. "Strickland!" Harry climbed onto another horse. "We rally on the eastern ridge," Randall shouted. "The ridge is lost. Then the woods. Dragons will burn the woods." Randall's face was blackened with soot. "What do you suggest?" Harry looked toward Highgarden. Tyrell cavalry had advanced too far in pursuit. Dothraki riders were scattered among prisoners and wounded. Daenerys circled above, focused on the elephants. The castle gates stood open behind the victorious army. Harry laughed. Randall stared at him. "Advance?" Harry said. "What?" "What?" "Advance on Highgarden. Our army is retreating. Then Cersei will never expect us to attack." Randall understood. He turned his horse and raised his sword. "Tarly! To me!" The Golden Company drums changed rhythm. Men who had been moving east stopped. Officers screamed new commands. Cohorts reformed, not away from Highgarden, but toward it. Tyrion heard the drums. His stomach dropped. "They are not retreating." Olenna looked toward the field. Harry gathered every soldier still capable of marching and drove straight at the open gates. Tyrell cavalry, committed to pursuit, could not turn in time. Highgarden's remaining defenders scrambled to close the drawbridge. Golden Company archers shot the winch crews from the walls. Randall reached the gate first. He knew the castle. He had dined in its halls, commanded its men, and walked its gardens. His soldiers seized the outer yard before the alarm spread. Daenerys saw gold banners rising at the gatehouse. She turned Drogon. Too late. The battle in the wheat had been hers. Highgarden belonged to the enemy. Highgarden fell before sunset. The castle had been built for beauty before defense. Its layered walls, hedge mazes, courtyards, and ornamental towers confused attackers, but Randall Tarly knew every turn. He led Golden Company soldiers through servants' passages and garden gates, while Tyrell men struggled to understand which banners belonged to allies and which to traitors. The fighting ended room by room. Golden roses were torn from walls. The great hall filled with prisoners. Outside, Daenerys circled upon Drogon. She could have burned the castle. Every battlement, tower, and occupied courtyard lay within reach. Yet her own allies remained inside. Olenna, servants, wounded soldiers, and hundreds of civilians had no path of escape. Harry understood the shield he had taken. He ordered the Golden Company to move prisoners into the oldest stone chambers and placed his wounded among them. If the Dragon Queen attacked, friend and enemy would burn together. Daenerys landed beyond the range of the surviving scorpions. She watched Cersei's banners rise over Highgarden. Tyrion found her on a hill overlooking the castle. Smoke drifted across the gardens. Dothraki riders gathered below, demanding permission to assault the gates. "We won the field," Daenerys said. "Yes." And lost the castle. Yes. I should burn it. No. I know. That made the words worse. Rhaegal landed behind them, favoring the side where the bolt had struck. Viserion remained in the air. Can we storm the walls? Daenerys asked. Not before they kill Olenna. They may kill her anyway. Harry Strickland has not. Cersei will order it. Then we need another way. Daenerys turned upon him. Every way you offer leaves my enemies alive long enough to defeat me. Tyrion absorbed the accusation. He had urged caution at Dragonstone. Restraint in the reach. Mercy toward uncertain lords. Each piece of advice was reasonable. Together they had allowed Cersei to choose every battlefield. You are right, he said. Daenerys had expected resistance. My sister is fighting a war of symbols, Tyrion continued. Dragonstone, Highgarden, the Golden Company. She does not need to destroy you if she can make the realm believe you cannot win. Then, I destroy the symbols, not Highgarden. Dragonstone. Nanda. Daenerys looked east. The castle is held by thousands. Fewer now. Harry brought most of the company south. Scorpions remain. Yes. And Euron's fleet. Perhaps. But after the battle, he will expect us to remain here. Cersei will expect us to rescue Olenna. Daenerys understood. We leave. We appear to leave. Below them, Dothraki torches spread across the hills. The Golden Company watched from the walls. That night, Daenerys ordered half the fires extinguished. Dothraki units withdrew south in visible columns. Ravens flew towards Sunspear, commanding Grey Worm to march north. Yara's ships were told to show themselves near the arbor. Every sign suggested preparations for a siege. Before dawn, Daenerys, Tyrion, and 50 riders disappeared east. The dragons flew above cloud. Inside Highgarden, Olenna Tyrell received her captors in the Great Hall. She had changed into a green gown and placed a golden rose brooch over her heart. A cup of wine waited beside her chair. Randall entered first. Olenna looked at him. I always knew you were humorless. I had not realized you were stupid. Nah. Randall stopped before her. You brought Dothraki into the Reach. I brought dragons. The Dothraki came attached. You betrayed the realm. The realm is an arrangement among people powerful enough to kill each other. Do not pretend it is holy. Harry Strickland entered behind him, limping from the battle. Olenna studied his torn armor. And you must be the famous captain who lost a battle and captured a castle. Harry bowed. My lady, you have manners. That would disappoint Cersei. Jaime arrived the following afternoon with Lannister cavalry. Cersei had sent him from King's Landing after hearing that battle was imminent. He arrived too late to fight, and soon enough to inherit its consequences. He found bodies still lying in the gardens. Tyrell men had fallen among roses. Golden Company soldiers bled beneath marble statues. An elephant lay dead near the outer wall, its huge flank feathered with arrows. Jaime dismounted beside it. The beast's eye remained open. Who killed it? He asked. A scorpion bolt struck it when the dragon drove the animals back, a soldier said. Our own weapon. Jaime looked toward the gatehouse. Victory always possessed this smell. Blood, smoke, dung. Open bodies, trampled flowers. Harry met him in the yard. You held, Jaime said. Barely. The Queen will call it a great victory. The Queen was not here. No, she rarely attends the victories she claims. Harry's mouth almost formed a smile. They entered the hall together. Olenna looked older than Jaime remembered, but no less dangerous. So, she said, Cersei sends her best hand. Jaime flexed the fingers of his golden one. Her only hand. Randall stood near the windows. The castle is secure. Daenerys' army withdrew south. Her army, Jaime said. What of the dragons? Gone. Harry looked at him. Too quickly. Jaime felt the same unease. They may be returning to Dorne. No, Harry said. Why? Because that is what we are meant to believe. A maester entered carrying a raven message. It came from Dragonstone. The northern delegation had arrived. Jon Snow was inside the castle. Jaime read the message, then another attached beneath it. Golden Company scouts on Driftmark had seen 3 dragons approaching through the clouds. Harry closed his eyes. She is going back, Jaime said. Randall swore. How many men hold Dragonstone? Olenna asked pleasantly. No one answered. She sipped her wine. It seems the Dragon Queen learns quickly. At Dragonstone, Jon Snow stood in the cave beneath the castle with a torch in hand. Black glass filled the walls. He had seen dragon glass before in small pieces, arrowheads and knives found beyond the wall. Here it existed in veins thicker than tree trunks, enough to arm armies. The Golden Company commander of the garrison, a Braavosi named Sir Mark Mandrake, had allowed Jon, Davos, and 10 guards below under escort. He did not believe their stories, but Harry's order was explicit. Take 1 shipload, Mark said. No more until proof arrives. How do you expect proof? Jon asked. A dead man who moves would be convincing. Capturing one is harder than saying it. Then your claim remains harder to believe. Davos ran a hand over the glass. We could mine for years. We have weeks, Jon said. A distant roar passed through the stone. The Golden Company guards looked upward. Dust fell from the cave roof. Another roar followed. Closer. Jon knew the sound, though he had never heard it before. Dragons. They ran from the cave. Outside, bells rang across the castle. Soldiers raced to scorpions. Officers shouted for the gates to be sealed. Jon climbed the steps to the outer yard and saw 3 shapes descending through cloud. Daenerys came upon Dragonstone for the 2nd time. This time there was no fleet to protect. No soldiers crowding boats. No need to approach along the path her enemies had prepared. Drogon landed upon the highest tower. His weight shattered a carved stone dragon beneath his claws. Rhaegal swept along the northern wall, burning scorpion crews before they could turn their weapons. Viserion struck the harbor positions. Green fire erupted from old traps, but no ships waited inside them. Golden Company archers filled the sky with arrows. The dragons ignored them. Jon watched Daenerys dismount upon the battlement. Silver hair streamed behind her. Black armor covered her shoulders. She looked less like a returning queen than vengeance given human form. Mark Mandrake drew his sword. Hold the castle! Jon seized his arm. You cannot. Mark shoved him away. We have orders. To die. To defend. Drogon roared from the tower. Men abandoned the nearest scorpion. Jon faced the commander. Yield a tart. Mark's eyes burned with shame and calculation. If I yield, Cersei kills every family member our men left in Essos. She cannot reach them. The Iron Bank can. The true chain. Jon understood then why Harry had disobeyed Cersei only in secret. The company's discipline did not rest solely upon honor. Its contract extended across the sea. Daenerys descended the steps toward them. Golden Company soldiers formed a shield wall in the yard. Jon and his men stood between the 2 sides. Tyrion appeared behind Daenerys and stopped when he saw Jon. You must be Ned Stark's bastard, he said. Jon remembered him from Winterfell. You must still be the Lannister who talks too much. Some things survive every war. Daenerys looked at the dragon glass dust covering Jon's clothes. Why are you in my castle? To save the living. Behind him, Mark raised his shield. Daenerys looked past Jon toward the Golden Company. Lay down your weapons." No one moved. "I will not ask twice." Jon stepped closer to her. "If you burn them, you burn men who allowed us into the caves. They occupied my home. They followed their commander's orders. So did the men who nailed children to posts in Marine. And some of them chose differently when given the chance." Daenerys studied him. "You defend my enemies before introducing yourself." "I have enough enemies." Tyrion came to her side. "If the garrison yields, we regain the castle intact. And if they do not..." Jon looked at Mark. "Then they will die for a queen who treats them as purchased shields." The words reached the soldiers. Not all. Enough. One shield lowered. Then another. Mark closed his eyes. His sword struck the stones. Across the yard, Golden Company men began laying down their weapons. Daenerys had retaken Dragonstone without speaking the word that would have burned them. By dusk, the Targaryen banner flew above the castle. The island's ravens carried the news in every direction. Highgarden had fallen. Dragonstone had risen. The realm no longer knew which queen was winning. Daenerys did not believe in dead men. She believed in chains, hunger, ambition, cruelty, love, and fire. She believed cities could be freed and become prisons again within a day. She believed good intentions were meaningless without strength to defend them. But she did not believe corpses marched beneath blue-eyed kings. Jon Snow took her into the caves. Torchlight moved over walls cut by forgotten hands. Dragonglass shone like frozen darkness. Deeper inside, carvings appeared. Spirals, circles, and figures with raised weapons. "The children of the forest made these," Jon said. "They fought beside the first men." Daenerys studied one image. Tall figures stood apart from the others. Their eyes had been marked with pale mineral that caught the light. "The dead," Jon said. "Stone pictures are not proof." "No." "Then why show me?" "Because people faced this before. They survived together." She looked at him. "You came to ask Sellswords for glass. Now you ask me for armies." "I ask everyone." "Do you bend the knee to everyone?" "No." There it was. The conflict waiting beneath every word. Daenerys had reclaimed Dragonstone. Ravens brought offers from lesser crownland houses, already reconsidering Cersei's strength. The Golden Company prisoners had been given food and offered a choice: remain as captives, join her, or depart unarmed after the war. Most expected execution. Mercy became another victory. Yet Jon Snow refused even the courtesy of acknowledging her claim. "You stand in my castle," she said. "Mine by blood and conquest. I do. You mine my dragonglass. With your permission, you ask me to fight your war. The dead are everyone's war. And still you will not call me queen. You are a queen. The queen, not in the north." Davos winced quietly behind them. Tyrion found sudden interest in a wall carving. Daenerys stepped closer. Jon did not retreat. He was unlike the men who had approached her in Essos. He did not flatter, desire, or visibly fear her. His stubbornness carried no performance. He seemed genuinely incapable of placing political survival above what he believed. That made him either honest or dangerous. Often they were the same. "What happens if I help you?" she asked. "Cersei keeps the throne. The Golden Company keeps Highgarden. My allies die while I march north to defend subjects who reject me. If the dead pass the wall, none of those questions matter. They matter now." "Yes." The admission surprised her. Jon looked toward the carvings. "I know what it is to fight one war while another destroys everything behind you. I fought wildlings because they were the enemy. Then I learned they were fleeing the same thing we were. Men died before I understood." "No." "And now you think every enemy can become a friend?" "No. I think dead enemies make poor allies when the real war comes." Tyrion stepped forward. "There may be a path that serves both causes." Daenerys gave him a wary look. His paths had acquired unpleasant endings. "The Golden Company," he said. "Harry Strickland defied Cersei to allow Joan's delegation here. He also took Highgarden and spared Olenna. For now, he follows the contract where he must and resists where he can." The garrison commander explained the Iron Bank holds their families and assets as security. Jon frowned. "Cersei bought hostages. In a respectable financial arrangement," Tyrion said. "What do you propose?" Daenerys asked. "We free the hostages." Silence. Varys, waiting near the cave entrance, moved closer. "The company maintains estates, pay offices, schools, and family quarters in Braavos, Tyrosh, and Myr," he said. "Not all are literal hostages, but the Iron Bank can seize their wealth, imprison debtors, and deny every port. Can your birds reach them?" Daenerys asked. "Son, you want me to fight a war in Braavos, while Cersei holds the reach?" "No," Tyrion said. "We want the Iron Bank to believe Cersei cannot repay them. She has Highgarden's gold." "Not yet." At Highgarden, Jaime had found the Tyrell treasury partly emptied. Olenna had anticipated betrayal. Gold wagons had left the castle weeks before, sent in different directions under merchant guard. Some went toward Old Town. Others vanished into villages, monasteries, or private estates. Cersei's great victory had produced less coin than expected. The Golden Company had received only its first payment. "Destroy Cersei's credit," Tyrion continued, "and the bank loosens her chains around the company." "How?" Jon asked. Daenerys understood first. "Casterly Rock." Tyrion nodded. Rumor still treated the rock as the endless source of Lannister wealth. Few knew its mines were exhausted. The Iron Bank's confidence depended not only upon current payments, but Cersei's claim that the West could secure future debt. "If Casterly Rock falls," Varys said, "and Highgarden's treasury remains missing, the bank may call the Crown's loans." "Banks do not command armies," Jon said. "No," Tyrion replied. "They command the people who command armies." Daenerys walked deeper into the cave, thinking. Cersei had assembled her strength through borrowed gold. The Golden Company's loyalty depended upon that agreement. Break the agreement, and Highgarden might become a prison for the men holding it. But attacking Casterly Rock drew her farther from the north. Jon seemed to read the objection. "I will not ask you to march north today," he said. "Give us the glass. Let us prepare. Finish your war if you must." Daenerys turned. "And when I finish, I will show you the dead. What if I still demand the north? Then we argue among the living." Tyrion smiled faintly. A significant improvement. A raven arrived before midnight. It carried a message from Olenna. The note was written in a shaking hand and hidden inside a routine inventory dispatched by a captured Tyrell steward. The Golden Company was divided. Many soldiers had learned that the garrison at Dragonstone surrendered and survived. Harry Strickland had refused Cersei's order to execute northern envoys. Cersei now commanded Jaime to remove Harry and place the company under Euron's authority. Daenerys read the final line aloud. "Men who sell their swords still choose whose hand receives them." Tyrion looked toward the map. "We have an opening." At Highgarden, Harry Strickland sat beneath guard in a guest chamber. Jaime had not arrested him openly. The official explanation claimed the Captain General was recovering from battle wounds. In truth, Cersei's order lay inside Jaime's coat. "Remove Strickland." The wording allowed interpretation. Qyburn's accompanying letter did not. If Harry resisted, Jaime was to kill him and offer command to Loswell Peak. If Loswell refused, he was to proceed through the senior captains until someone accepted. Euron would arrive with Ironborn to ensure compliance. Jaime burned the second letter. He kept the first. Harry sat near the window with his injured leg extended. "You should have obeyed her," Jaime said, and seized Jon Snow's envoys. "Yes, you do not believe that. My beliefs are rarely relevant. Then you are the perfect servant." Jaime's hand moved toward his sword before he decided whether the insult deserved blood. Harry did not flinch. "My company cannot fight dragons, Dothraki, Dornishmen. Tyrell loyalists, Northern dead, and Cersei's suspicion at once, he said. Something must become an ally. And you chose Jon Snow? I chose to listen. That is treason now. To Cersei, breathing without permission is treason. Jaime looked out over Highgarden's damaged gardens. Golden Company men repaired walls beside Tarly soldiers. Prisoners carried stones. No one knew Euron's fleet was sailing toward them. What do you want? Jaime asked. Harry answered without hesitation. Land. You have gold. Gold buys another year of exile. Cersei can grant estates. Cersei will grant promises until the war ends. Then she will remember we are foreigners who know how weak she is. Nana, Bandi. And Daenerys, she is a Targaryen. Your company was founded against Targaryens. My company was founded by exiles who wanted to return home. Jaime turned. Would you change sides? I would fulfill the contract if Cersei fulfilled hers. She cannot pay. She believes fear will replace payment. Jaime laughed bitterly. It usually does. A horn sounded from the southern walls. Ships had been sighted on the Mander. Euron had arrived. By morning, Ironborn filled Highgarden's courtyards. They mocked the wounded, stole wine, and tore tapestries from walls. Golden Company officers protested. Euron answered by hanging 2 of them from a garden arch. Harry watched from his window. Jaime stood beside him. There's your replacement, Commander, Jaime said. Harry's face became stone. In the yard below, Euron ordered the remaining elephants painted with Kraken symbols for his entry into King's Landing. The company had crossed the sea dreaming of home. Cersei had decided to remind them they were purchased men. Euron Greyjoy took command of Highgarden at noon. By sunset, 3 men were dead for refusing him. The first was a Golden Company captain who demanded the release of Harry Strickland. Euron cut his throat in the Great Hall and left the body beneath Olenna's chair. The second was a Tyrell steward accused of hiding treasury records. The third was one of Euron's own men, thrown from a tower for laughing before his king finished a joke. Fear spread through the castle. So did decision. Jaime entered Harry's chamber after dark. 2 Lannister guards stood outside. He dismissed them, closed the door, and placed a dagger on the table. Harry looked at it. Am I meant to kill myself? I considered asking politely. Jaime cut the bindings from his wrists. Harry rubbed the bruised skin. Why? Because Euron commanding 10,000 disciplined soldiers is an insult to every god that abandoned us. That is not a reason to betray your queen. No, my company will not follow you. I do not want it. Then what do you want? Jaime looked toward the dark window. To know where honor ended and cowardice began. To return to a time before Cersei's love became indistinguishable from obedience. To save something, though he no longer knew whether it was a city, a realm, or the last part of himself that remembered wanting to be a knight. Get your men out of Highgarden, he said. Euron controls the gates. Not all of them. Jaime had spent the day placing Lannister soldiers at the eastern postern under the pretense of securing the prisoners. Beyond that gate waited Tyrell loyalists hidden among orchards. Olenna had arranged the contact through servants whom the Ironborn considered invisible. Harry studied him. Cersei will kill you. She has wanted to at least once a day since we were children. This is different. Yes. Jaime handed him the dagger. Euron's men are drunk. Randall's soldiers distrust them. Your captains are waiting for a signal. What signal? Jaime smiled without warmth. The elephants. At midnight, the last 2 elephants in Highgarden began screaming. Golden Company handlers cut their tethers and drove them through the Ironborn camp. Tents collapsed. Men woke beneath enormous feet. Horses broke loose. Fires spread along the yard. The eastern postern opened. Tyrell archers fired from the orchards. Harry Strickland emerged wearing plain armor and carrying no banner. He climbed onto the steps of the inner wall where his men could see him. "Golden Company!" he shouted. The response rose from courtyards, towers, and barracks. "Beneath the gold. Who commands you?" "Strickland." Euron appeared upon a balcony in an open shirt, an axe in one hand. "I command you," he roared. "Your queen bought every one of your yellow arses." A Golden Company archer shot the cup from beside his hand. The rebellion began. Soldiers turned on Ironborn guards. Locked armories opened. Officers distributed weapons to Tyrell prisoners. Randall Tarley attempted to rally his men beneath the Crown's banner, but his own ranks divided. Some remained loyal to him. Others would not fight beside reavers who had desecrated Highgarden. Dickon Tarley found Jaime in the lower yard. "What are you doing?" the young knight demanded. "Choosing badly, most likely. My father says you have betrayed the queen. Your father says whatever duty requires, and lets duty change its meaning afterward." Dickon raised his sword. Jaime drew his own. For a moment they stood amid smoke while men fought around them. Dickon was young, strong, and frightened. Jaime was tired. "Go to your father," Jaime said. "Take him out of the castle. No one needs to die for this. He will not flee. Then save him against his wishes. Sons do that sometimes." Dickon hesitated. Jaime lowered his blade first. The young man ran. In the great hall, Olenna remained seated while battle raged beyond the doors. Euron entered from the garden passage, blood across his chest. "You," he said. Olenna sipped wine. "Me? Where is Strickland?" "Probably doing something competent. You would not understand." Euron crossed the hall. Before he reached her, an arrow struck his shoulder. Yara Greyjoy stepped from behind a pillar. She had entered Highgarden with 20 fighters through a river tunnel revealed by Tyrell's servants. Her armor was wet. Her axe was already bloodied. Euron grinned despite the arrow. "Niece, uncle, Tatia. I heard you lost your fleet. I heard you lost an army." They attacked each other. Olenna watched with mild annoyance as steel rang beneath the golden roses. Yara fought with both hands upon her axe. Euron was stronger and seemed to enjoy every wound. He drove her across the hall, overturned the council table, and struck her hard enough to split her lip. "You always wanted my chair," he said. "I want your head. Everyone does. It is why I know I am a king." He raised his axe. A golden hand caught his wrist. Jaime drove his shoulder into Euron's back. Yara rolled clear. Euron turned and slashed, opening Jaime's side beneath the armor. Jaime staggered. Euron laughed. Then Olenna struck him with her wine cup. It did no harm. It did make him turn. Yara buried her axe in his chest. Euron looked down. Surprise appeared on his face, almost childlike. Yara pulled the blade free. He collapsed beneath the table. For several heartbeats, no one spoke. Olenna looked at the body. "Finally," she said. "A useful Greyjoy." At dawn, the crowned skull banner rose again over Highgarden. This time it flew beside the golden rose. Harry addressed his surviving captains in the outer yard. Nearly 2,000 Golden Company men had died since landing in Westeros. Hundreds more were wounded. The army remained formidable, but the contract that bound it to Cersei had become a death sentence. "The Queen has not paid," Harry told them. "Her agent murdered our officers. Her commander seized our authority. Her bank holds our families and livelihoods across the sea." Men listened in silence. "We can return to Essos and spend another generation fighting for cities that will never be ours. We can crawl back to Queen's Landing and ask Cersei to forgive us for surviving. Or we can claim what our fathers promised." A soldier raised his voice. "Westeros." Others answered. Harry lifted one hand. "Not as conquerors. Not as thieves. We earn land by defending it. We choose a ruler who pays in more than borrowed coin. Which ruler? Laswell asked. Harry looked east. The one who spared our garrison. Ravens flew from Highgarden. One went to Dragonstone. Another went to Braavos, carrying proof that Cersei had defaulted upon the contract by removing the company's lawful captain general and placing its troops under foreign command. Varys sent copies to every major banking house between Pentos and Old Town. The Iron Bank did not declare loyalty. Banks rarely did. It suspended further credit to the Iron Throne. That was enough. In Queen's Landing, Cersei read the message alone. Jaime had betrayed her. Euron was dead. Highgarden was lost. The Golden Company had changed sides. For several minutes, she felt nothing. Then Qyburn entered. "The city gates are secure," he said. "Lord Tarly is withdrawing with the men who remained loyal. He may reach the capital within 6 days." How many? Perhaps 4,000. And the Golden Company? Marching east. Daenerys? Her ships have left Dragonstone. Cersei walked to the window. The city stretched below beneath a sky heavy with storm. Scorpions stood upon the walls. Wildfire remained beneath key streets. The 2 elephants in the outer yard had been moved inside the city to prevent sabotage. She still had walls. She still had men. She still had fear. "Send word to every gate," she said. "Any man who speaks of surrender loses his tongue. Any family that attempts to leave will be treated as traitors." Qyburn bowed. "And prepare the wildfire. All of it. All the..." At Dragonstone, Daenerys received Harry's offer in the chamber of the painted table. Tyrion read the letter twice. He asked for pardons, citizenship, and land for every company family that settles peacefully, he said. Officers may retain rank under Crown command. No man is to be returned to the Iron Bank for debt incurred under Cersei's contract. "Where does he expect this land?" Daenerys asked. "The Crownlands contain abandoned estates. The war will create more." Jon stood on the opposite side of the table. "Give them the gift." Daenerys looked at him. "The lands south of the wall are empty," Jon continued. "Farms abandoned, villages gone. The Night's Watch cannot hold them. Settle trained soldiers there after the dead are defeated." "No, after," Daenerys said. "Yes. You offer northern land to support my crown? I offer empty land to men who may help keep everyone alive." Tyrion considered it. The Golden Company was founded by exiles dreaming of Westeros. Give them a home at the edge of the world, and they become a shield against the next invasion. "Assuming they survive this one," Davos said. Daenerys looked toward Jon. "And the North? Remains the North. For now. For now." She could have demanded more. A defeated garrison had yielded to her. Highgarden had declared for her. The Golden Company now offered allegiance. Cersei was isolated behind the walls of a frightened city, but the dragon-glass cave lay beneath their feet. The carvings remained in her thoughts. People facing darkness together. Daenerys signed the terms. The invasion of King's Landing began 3 days later. Yara's ships entered Blackwater Bay from the south. Red wine galleys joined them after the Arbor declared for Daenerys. Golden Company forces marched along the Roserad with Tyrell survivors and Dothraki riders screening their flanks. Grey Worm's Unsullied advanced from Dorne, slower but relentless. Jon did not join the attack. He sailed north with Dragonglass, Davos, and every mining crew Dragonstone could spare. Daenerys gave him a single promise. When Cersei fell, the dragons would fly north. Jon gave one in return. When the dead were defeated, they would speak of crowns. On the morning Daenerys reached Queen's Landing, the city bells did not ring. Cersei had ordered their ropes cut. She stood atop the Red Keep while armies gathered beyond the walls. Golden Company banners appeared first, the same banners she had once displayed as proof of her salvation. Harry Strickland rode beneath them. Jaime rode at his side. Cersei could not see his face from that distance, but she knew the shape of him even beneath armor. She had known him before either of them understood they were separate people. Qyburn stood behind her. "The wildfire is prepared. Wait. Drogon emerged from cloud. Rhaegal and Viserion followed. The city cried out as one voice. Scorpions turned upon the walls. Daenerys did not attack. She flew above the outer districts, low enough for the people to see her, high enough to avoid the weapons. Parchments rained from baskets carried by riders upon Rhaegal and Viserion. Tyrion's words covered the streets. They promised pardon to every soldier who laid down arms, food to every district that opened its gates, protection for the small folk, trial for those accused of murder. No sack, no Dothraki within the city without escort, and one final warning. Wildfire had been placed beneath their homes by Queen Cersei. Panic spread faster than flame. Gold cloaks abandoned posts to find their families. Crowds surged toward gates. Lannister officers attempted to restore order, but no command could make men stand above buried fire. Cersei watched her city turn against her. "Light the caches," she said. Qyburn did not move. She turned. The old maester looked almost sorrowful. "The pyromancers have been arrested." "By whom?" "The city watch." "Then send the Kingsguard. The outer gates are opening." Below, the Lion Gate groaned. Golden Company soldiers entered first, shields raised. No arrows struck them. Small folk crowded alleys, watching the returned exiles march beneath crowned skulls. Not invaders, not saviors. Men coming home. Harry ordered every unit to maintain formation. Looting meant death. Harm to civilians meant death. Fires were to be extinguished before prisoners were taken. The discipline that had once strengthened Cersei now ended her reign. Randyll Tarly held the inner gate with the last loyal reachman. Dickon stood beside him. Harry approached under a white banner. "Yield," he called. Randyll raised his sword. "I do not yield to sellswords. You yield to the queen whose mercy you refused. I recognize no foreign queen." Jaime rode forward. "She was born at Dragonstone. She brings savages. She brings an army. So did Aegon." Randyll's face hardened. "You forsook your house. My house forsook the realm." Dickon looked between them. Behind the gate, frightened soldiers waited. Randyll lifted his sword. Dickon caught his arm. "Father, release me. It is done. It is done when we are dead." "No," Dickon said. "It is done now." For the first time, the son refused the father. Randyll stared at him, then at the men behind him. Swords lowered one by one. His own followed last. The Red Keep surrendered before dusk. Cersei sat upon the Iron Throne when Daenerys entered. Grey Worm walked at the Queen's right. Tyrion walked at her left. Harry, Jaime, Yara, Missandei, and Varys followed. Drogon clung to the outer tower, his claws visible through broken windows. Cersei wore her crown. No guards remained. "You took your time," she said. Daenerys stopped before the steps. "I came once before, and fled. I returned." Cersei looked at Harry. "You were paid." "Partly. I gave you Westeros. You gave us orders." Her gaze moved to Jaime. There it lingered. "So this is what honor looks like." "No," Jaime said. "It's what remains after honor fails." Tyrion faced his sister. Cersei smiled faintly. "You always wanted to destroy us. I wanted us to stop destroying everyone else." Daenerys climbed the steps. Cersei did not move from the throne. "You will never rule them," she said. "They fear you. They feared you, and still obeyed. For a time." Cersei's fingers curled around the sword-shaped armrest. Fear always lasts longer than love. Daenerys looked across the vast hall. Soldiers, exiles, freedmen, lords, bastards, queens, and traitors stood beneath one roof. None trusted all the others. Some scarcely trusted her. Perhaps Cersei was right. Love did not bind kingdoms. Neither did fear. Choice did, repeated each day until it became loyalty or shattered. "Take her," Daenerys said. Grey Worm approached. Cersei rose before he reached her. She removed the crown and placed it upon the throne. For one instant, she looked only at Jaime. Then she descended. No wildfire consumed the city. No bells marked the ending. The Golden Company had arrived in Westeros before Daenerys, and for a season it seemed their early coming had saved Cersei's crown. Instead, it taught Daenerys the lesson conquest had never required in Essos. A dragon could win a field. It could shatter a wall, burn a fleet, and turn courage into ash. But a kingdom was not a field. It was 1,000 decisions made by frightened people. A commander lowering his sword, a son refusing his father, a brother opening a prison door, a queen choosing not to speak the word that would turn men into flame. Weeks later, the first snow fell upon Queen's Landing. Daenerys stood upon the battlements and watched it vanish against the warm stone. Behind her, the Iron Throne waited. Before her, ships prepared to sail north. Unsullied loaded dragon glass. Dothraki horses stamped inside transports. Golden Company soldiers repaired armor and painted new devices upon their shields. Not the crowned skull alone, but a black dragon above a pale wall. Harry Strickland had been granted estates in the gift for every family willing to settle there after the war. Many had already accepted. They had crossed the sea to reclaim a home remembered through stories. They would find it in the coldest, emptiest land in Westeros, beneath a wall no army believed could fall. Tyrion joined Daenerys. The Northern Ravens say the dead have reached Eastwatch. How long? Not long. She looked toward the clouds. Drogon stirred upon a nearby tower. Rhaegal's wound had healed into a pale scar. Viserion circled above the bay. "Is the city secure?" she asked. "As secure as a city can be after discovering its queen intended to burn it. And Cersei, under guard. Jaime? With her?" Daenerys considered objecting. She did not. "Summon the council," she said. "We leave at dawn." Tyrion glanced toward the throne room. "You have not sat the Iron Throne." "No. People will expect it. They can wait." Daenerys watched the snow. Across the realm, men had fought and died over who possessed a chair while death marched toward them all. She had crossed half the world to claim it. Now at the moment it was finally hers, she turned away. The Golden Company assembled outside the city walls before sunrise. Their numbers were smaller than when they had landed. Their armor bore burns, dents, and dried blood. Elephants no longer walked among them. One had died in battle, 2 in the rebellion, and the surviving beasts remained in the reach where winter would be kinder. The crowned skull banners moved in the cold wind. Harry rode before his men. "Beneath the gold," Laswell called. The answer rolled across the field. "Westeros." For the first time, the word was not a dream of return. It was a vow of defense. Daenerys mounted Drogon. Jon Snow waited far to the north, preparing walls that might not hold. Cersei's war had delayed them. Thousands were dead who might have stood against the darkness. Yet, thousands more now marched together who would otherwise have killed one another. Unsullied beside Northmen, Dothraki beside knights, wildlings beside exiles. The living were late, but they were coming. Drogon spread his wings. The black dragon rose above Queen's Landing, carrying a queen who had won the throne by learning when not to use fire. Below, the Golden Company turned north. Their ancestors had sworn to cross the narrow sea and reclaim Westeros. They had imagined fertile castles, warm halls, and banners raised over conquered keeps. They found instead a frozen road, an endless night, and an enemy that offered no contracts. Still, they marched. Home was no longer the land waiting to reward them. It was the land they had chosen not to abandon.